So picture this. It's 2002, and it's been about 2 years since your wife passed away. We're already starting out on a low note. It doesn't exactly come up from here. You look out at the parking lot while you're eating breakfast with your daughter, and you look to your blue 96 Dakota. And while you're looking at it, it suddenly dawns on you, you just can't do it anymore. You and your wife had traveled all over the country in that truck, and now she's gone. The journey has come to an end. So you take the opportunity and you go to the local Dodge dealership. And after not much looking around, you end up with this. This was my grandpa's 2002 Dodge Dakota. And it was his way of dealing with heartbreak. And now I have it. This is still not quite real to me. I hope the audio comes through well. So, let's get into it. So I'm going to be the first to admit, I'm going to be a little emotional this episode, because this is totally different. While I do what I can to try to save a lot of cars, I don't like modern cars. If it's beyond 1990, I'm usually not interested. But this truck, I've gone on so many fishing trips and trips out of state to Cabela's. This truck came to rescue me on more than one occasion, along with the man inside of it, my grandfather, who unfortunately passed away last year in May. Since then, the truck has been sat behind his house, and in that time, it hadn't run in 5 years. Due to health and various other factors, it just kind of got pushed to the side and became a project for eventually, and eventually never came. So now I've got it, and it's kind of surreal. So let me give you guys kind of the rundown of what happened for me to get to this point. So what ended up happening, excuse me, sir. Hold on. Well, now that that's over with. So when my grandfather died, it left his estate in limbo due to him not having a will in place. There's only a couple of things in this world that I hate, and those people that are close to me know this to be true. The first one is torpedo heaters that won't work. The second is modern cars. So why on earth is this so special? Other than the fact that it's my grandfather's, why is it so special to me? Because it was my grandfather's. Do I really need another reason? This was his truck. This was his way of dealing with my grandmother passing away and him not wanting to surround himself with that feeling anymore. And he kept it until he died. From 2002 until 2024, he kept this thing. And up until 2019, as far as I remember, it was still running and driving and on the road on a regular basis. This was what he brought us Christmas presents in. This is what he came to rescue me a couple times in. This is what we took fishing trips in. This truck did a lot of stuff for something that's only got 140,000 miles on it. But it went everywhere. And I couldn't really stand to see it sit where it was sitting. And as you guys saw in the intro, that garage that it was in front of is in the process of collapsing. It's not in good shape. And unfortunately, the neighbors there at his residence, I don't want to blast them here. It's not that I don't want to defame their character, because you have to have character to have character defamed. Instead, it's that I don't want to give that snapping turtle-looking twat the opportunity for her to potentially facilitate any type of popularity out of this. But what she did was she stole the truck. She moved it onto her property with malintent, covered it with a tarpaulin, and hoped that nobody would notice. But I noticed. And unfortunately, the neighbors there at his residence, I don't want to and so did a lot of other people. See, you forget when you've been in a neighborhood for so long, like my grandfather had, people know you pretty well. And when shit starts coming up missing, they're going to ask questions. And when there's really only one nutty bitch in the whole fucking forest, well, you hang with squirrels, your nut's going to get cracked. And she fucking got cracked. She decided to break into the house, change the locks, and subsequently, here we are. This is here, so that she couldn't steal it. Well, couldn't proceed any further with the process of theft. We hope. We'll see. There's still some irons to be hammered out with this. But for right now, the truck is in my possession. And I'm going to do what I can to get it running. Because nobody knows why it quit running. It just, one day it didn't run anymore. And as you could tell by the moss and stuff growing on it, it sat behind the house for a long time. Not because my grandpa wanted it to, but because he just really didn't have the money to fix it. And he didn't have anybody to fix it. Because, I mean, I was working for my old company at the time. I didn't really get days off. But now, I guess we get to dig into it a little bit. We'll walk you around the truck and show you what we're working with here. It's not in perfect shape, but that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter to me. So let's walk you around it. About 2016, my grandfather was delivering Valentine's cards to my parents' place. And there was an unfortunate snowstorm, and on his way home, the road was a little slick. He slid off the road and had a little bit of a misadventure with another vehicle. He ultimately never fixed this, and I think it was he just didn't see a reason to fix it. He wasn't caught up on the aesthetic of the truck itself. The paint and stuff was falling off, and like most 2000s Dodges, cut it here. And you can film it from here. The fucking bumper's rusting apart. And this is the third bumper this thing's had. Apparently Dodge used some inferior steel in their molds for the Dakotas in the early 2000s, and subsequently we ended up with this. It looks like it's got meth mount, but on its ass. It looks just like the lady that tried to steal it. Wild. On this side, it's pretty straight. It's got some moss and stuff growing. If we sank it in the lake, the catfish would eat that. Which is funny because my grandpa was a fisherman. It was his favorite thing in the world to do. And, but we're not going to do that, I hope. We're going to, he's late for a dick sucking appointment. Gotta speed up. We're gonna try to empty this thing out at least, and we're gonna see if we can get it running. I don't see any reason at all why this thing shouldn't run, which is why it perplexes me that it stopped running. I was told it had 2 bad oxygen sensors. That's why it quit running. Oxygen sensor doesn't usually make it stop running. So maybe there's something else. Maybe there's something else, or I don't know. Could get in it, turn the key, and see if it turns on. That'd make this video pretty short, wouldn't it? Ah, fuck it. Let's try it. So the interior's needing a little bit of help, just cleaned and stuff, but as you can tell, my grandpa was a diehard Miami Dolphins fan. I've actually got a couple of his old jackets in the house. Was always a Dolphins fan, even when they didn't play very well. You know, like right after Marino left. I don't remember much about football. I watch it occasionally, mostly when my sister's watching it, because that bitch gets fucking crazy when she's watching football. Same with my mom. I don't want to call her a bitch, though. She'd punch me in the mouth. I don't want that. I already got enough problems with that. So, just with my face. So, I don't know, man. I think I should get in it and turn the key and see if it starts. Well, the dome lights and stuff are on, so we know it's got power. Attempting to see if we're about to have a short video in 3, 2... Well, that's it for this one. Stay tuned next week to when I get a car that doesn't run, I guess. I don't fucking know. What the fuck happened here? This thing's set for 5 years! Alright, so it runs. That's fucking terrific. I can't believe it started. It needs the tires filled up and stuff before we attempt to move it to see if it runs and drives. So we'll deal with that tomorrow, because the light's fading and I've had enough to deal with today. So we'll hop on this tomorrow. Go fishing stuff. Is this made out of dog fur? It kind of looks like it is. I mean, to be fair, Grandpa did have a dog that looked a lot like that. So maybe he did. You'll also notice that this episode has a different watermark. Actually, none of the episodes before this will have had a watermark. But we're doing a watermark on this one that is Miami Dolphins colors, specifically because it's his truck. And I'm going to see if I can get a hold of somebody to do some Miami Dolphins colored, well, the stickers, the same logo that we're going to use as like stickers and shit. And then we're going to put all proceeds towards the Licking County Humane Society, because that is something that he believed in. He got all of his dogs from the Humane Society. He's a big believer in helping animals. But yeah, he was a fisherman, and he caught a lot of fucking fish. But he treated all animals with kindness. And I really admired that. Even when things were biting them or just giving them all kinds of hell, he was never mean to them. I've seen him pick up a catfish, get stung, and then give the catfish a kiss and toss it back in the water. The man he didn't fault the animal for what the animal was. And he didn't fault people for what they were either, from what I ever saw. I'm very lucky that I got as much time with him as I did. So, anyway, we're going to open the hood on this thing tomorrow. And we're going to try to make this thing look pretty again. We're not going to be able to make it perfect. It needs paint all over for that. And I don't have the budget for that now. But maybe eventually I will. Maybe eventually it'll be something. Maybe this will end up becoming the shop truck for this, because I've been saying we need one. And my grandpa used to street race, so maybe this is the right truck for it. He actually ran, the last time that he ever street raced was in this truck. So, even though it's a 3.9 V6, he didn't care. So let's, yeah, we will see y'all tomorrow. So, with more information coming through about the incident with this truck, the more that I can kind of give you guys. So, what I told you before is correct. Neighbor stole the truck. Took the truck off my grandpa's property, attempted to destroy his property, and subsequently they were told to put it back, and I relieved it from the property. The neighbor has been apparently trying to press charges of theft against me. Fucking what? This isn't her truck. This is my grandfather's truck. The next of kin are who have rights to the truck. Well, that would be my mother and my aunt, both of whom came to the conclusion that I was the best person this truck could go to. I'm only addressing it because I know that because of the conversations that I've had with her in the past, she's a fan of the channel. She's probably here madder than fuck. if I looked like you 2-ton turtle-headed twat, I would also be very angry. We can't all be something other than what you are. Anyway, so here's the plan for right now. We got to air up this tire because we got for sure one tire flat. We got to kind of shuffle some cars around today to make room because somebody supposedly complained that the truck was sitting here. I have a very hard time believing that it was the neighbors that complained. I only have a hard time believing that because the neighbors on this side absolutely love us and they love the channel and they like what we do. The neighbor on the other side we're on good terms with. They don't say anything to us, we don't really say anything to them, but we communicate on occasion. The folks across the street, the people in the gray house, I don't think I've ever seen them leave. They might be dead, I have no idea. The guy in the brick house, I've talked to him 4 or 5 times, really nice dude. He likes what we do. And the only interactions that I've had with him were to tell him, hey, I caught somebody breaking in your truck, or when we were discussing something because somebody got arrested down here in the alley. None of my neighbors have a problem with me. So the fact that somebody got a hold of the landlord or got a hold of the city and complained about this sitting here is a little peculiar because they complained about it the day it got here. Weird coincidence. So let's get this tire inflated. We're gonna check some fluids. This thing really should have some fresh gas in it. I might try to see if I can facilitate that somehow. And then we're gonna put this thing to work. It's sat for the last 5 years, but it wants to run. We'll see if it'll make it around the neighborhood, and if it'll do that, we'll get to work. Let's get on it. I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of have forgotten where we're at on the progress with this. It's been a few days and I've been out of town for work. Also, Megan's not here, and my soul is coming apart. Not that. They were free, so I can't really complain, but when you get boots from a dumpster, you're bound to get trash. Anyway, I think we were on opening the hood, seeing what's going on in there. I'm glad that they kept the same release that they had on the 74 Dart. That's neat. I wonder if all Dodges release like that. This is only like the fourth or fifth Dodge that I've owned. Let's see what we're working with here. So this is the 3.9 Magnum V6. With how they got that set up, it looks like it's carved. It's funny. Nothing is very obviously wrong, which is good. I gotta check the Earl. I don't have. Whatever. Let's see where we're at. We already ran it once. I could probably use change. I mean, to be fair, it's sat for a long time. It's just use to go back. Oil's fine, just dirty. Sitting for 5 years. Trans blood stick is still good. This is terrific. It probably needs a new air cleaner for sure, because God knows the last time that was changed. I gotta figure out where the MAF sensor is, and then we can probably see about pulling plugs, but the plugs are kind of in odd spots on this. They're back there a little bit. We might skip that for right now. Maybe run like some deep creep or something through it, just to try to clean it up a little bit. But I think what we ought to do is, because at the moment we can't really take this thing very far. because of, we'll just call it legal reasons. And, but we can fill the tire up, take it around the block real quick, see if we got anything wrong with it that needs like immediately addressed. I think at the moment most of it is just dirty sensors and it needing clean fuel. I have some clean fuel, so we can probably put some of that in by way of a funnel. Maybe we get to that first. Maybe we do that and then we run through the plug check, because those plugs are going to be kind of a bear to get to, I think. Oh, that thing's stubborn. I'll check that when I have a screwdriver. Fine. It's fine. Why does adding alcohol to orange juice make it better? Yeah, screwdriver. Anyway, let's give this thing a shot. Get that tire aired out. God damn. What does it say that PSI of this is supposed to be? Probably not 35 pounds. Well, it's definitely not supposed to be 4, which is what it says it is. Hey, enough of that. Homeless activities. Surreal driving this thing, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how many trips to places like Indian Lake or even like Buckeye Lake, Cabela's up in Dundee, Michigan. I took a lot of trips in this truck, so it just feels really weird to be on this side of it. It's always over there where you're at. It's almost cathartic. Let's not test our luck too much today, but she does run. She does drive very nicely. It actually doesn't drive any different than I remember, which is pretty impressive for something that's sat for over 5 years. Why aren't the AC works? I heard the clutch kick in. It works a little bit. It might need recharged. So that's something. Well, now the decision is, what are we going to do with it? Because I'm waiting on the title and all that. It definitely needs a roof liner because it was falling down and had holes in it and everything else. we're just going to do a whole new one. Don't know that it'll stay the factory color. There's none over here anymore. But I don't know that it'll stay the factory color. We might end up going with maybe black or something. Haven't really decided yet. But yeah, once we get the title in, this is going to be our new shop truck. So this is going to be our go places, do things truck for the channel. Provided everything goes the way that it's supposed to. We'll have the title and stuff for this in a couple of months, and yeah, this kind of feels unreal. Like, he died a little over a year ago, and this and the house have sat in limbo since then. And now, because of his neighbor being an entitled twat, I ended up with the truck, and the estate is no longer in limbo. Everything's getting resolved. So, what a wild turn of events. All it took was one crackhead deciding that just because nobody lived there, it was her house now. So, that's cool. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap it for this one. I don't really have anything further to go on. We're going to be trying, keyword trying, to make some stickers for this truck. And actually try to start making it so that we can at least do stickers. For right now, stickers are the most cost-effective thing that we could do, because, you know, shirts get expensive after a while. But anyway, that's going to do it for me. See y'all next time. Have the day you deserve.